All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Monday Night Football Showdown show here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. Do us a favor on the way in, hit the like button, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on our way now to 10,000 subscribers. It's all free to do. It's quick, it's easy, and it helps us out a ton. We're going to give away the $9.99 annual package with Shiptimizer when we get to 10,000. We just did a huge 6-month giveaway at 9,000. And Hoopster, Title here with me. We'll get to Title and the cheeseheads there, but Hoop, what's going on, man? We got Saints, Packers to round out the week.
Yeah, I mean, another game that from a showdown perspective, probably a little difficult. I mean, we'll talk through it, obviously, see what we can find, see if we can find ways to get unique. But, you know, the Packers are favored by 14. They're facing a dead team. And I was thinking earlier, it was kind of funny. What was it? Week 2 of the NFL season. It was 2 weeks in a row where the Saints just absolutely went off, and everyone's saying, you know, the best offense in the NFL. And now we're at week 17 or week 16 of the season, almost 17, and they're projected to score 14 points here tonight. So obviously some injuries played part in that, but I mean, yeah, they had us fleeced for a couple weeks at least, and now they're basically projected to get doubled up. I mean, the Packers are projected to score 28, and the Saints are projected to score 14 points. So we'll see what we can find. Obviously, there's going to be some shitters here on the Saints side that are likely in play. So we'll dive in, see what we can find. But I thought that was kind of funny just thinking back early on in the season.
People are going to get on your case about injuries, and they were
for sure.
They were healthy. It's not like they were that good anyway. It's just this is all a product of, you said it, 14-point dogs with a 14-point team total. And people just last week found out that Dante Pettis was still in the NFL. So, I mean, when you're talking about what a roster we're working with here, we'll get to your boy, Kevin Austin Jr. later on. But Title, Packers side, baby, let's go. You see all those 5-1s in the chat? How are we winning this game tonight?
The good thing about the Packers is it's always spinning a roulette wheel when it comes to the wide receiver room. So that's the good thing about the Packers. It's not concentrated. Also, look at the Bills yesterday. They were 14-point favorites. New England comes out, opening drive, and they made it a dogfight in Buffalo. So you never know in the NFL. Like, these players are still going to play to win. Even teams want to tank, et cetera, for a pick, like we saw it with the Raiders yesterday. These players want to win. They're NFL players. We saw it with the Bills, Patriots yesterday. Now, I'm not playing no 5-1 Saints. Even 4-2 Saints is tough. We'll probably see all year, I think this is the highest 5-1 we'll see. Packers for sure, 4-2 Packers. But with all that being said, I will still be playing a lot of those builds. But the Watson, Reeds, Dobbs of the world, Luke Musgraves in, all of that is a reason that I don't hate the slate too much, even though it is really skewed to the Packers side.
Always finding the positive. Shout out to our guy Title there. He's looking for that. And shout out to, who did I see here? Michael. All these shows I get to watch live this week. It's Chris. Yeah, Merry Shipmas. Happy holidays to everyone out there. I do imagine there's more people that have this day off because they just took the week and say, you know what, combine it with Christmas Eve, Christmas, everything upcoming. So welcome everybody in. Look, no school for our man Derek. You don't even got to get rid of the kids today, my friend.
Class is out, man. Easy access to the show today. You don't need to distract the little rascals there in the classroom.
Yeah, love it. We always have these storylines, so it's amazing when everybody can come out and spend it with us on these days. We love it. Maybe we'll give away a membership today, Hoopster. What do you think? Give away
love it, yeah.
A special all access with Shiptimizer. We'll give away the full meal deal. That'll get some people month 1 of the PGA season as well. I know a lot of talk in the industry today, PGA streets. We do got to pop this up right quick because it is next week. I mean, we're literally next week, next Monday, talking about the Century, and it's back. But a lot of talk around the industry. PGA is coming back. This is the best deal in the business. I can guarantee you that. There's no bias. It's the facts. Go search the prices of the other sites. Go back and see the results last season. It's all there. $100 off. So $299 for the season. $349 if you want an optimizer for the entire season for Classic and Showdown. The Stone, more bonuses to come. Our guy DJen just teased a little something. You can follow him on X. Go check him out. But lots of good stuff. And I know, Hoopster, you love chiming in on these things. What do we got, man? PGA's coming back.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, PGA has always been a big part of what we've done over here at SHIPIT Nation, and in terms of improving a product, making it better. I mean, I feel like we've put in more work on the PGA product than just about anything that we have to offer. I mean, obviously, we're improving and adding on in all the sports along the way, but PGA has been a main focus of ours. And you can go back to the merger with DGen 75. And again, I talked about it yesterday. It's not just him that came over. He has a team of guys behind the scenes. Like, he's done a really good job of accumulating talented people working on the stone specifically and our projections, the showdown projections. Talk about it a ton. And I mean, this is the spot to be for PGA. And a lot of people are going to say that, we see some new things popping up out of nowhere and they think they're going to be the, talk of the town and the new thing that people flock to. It's just not how it works in this industry. And, we're very confident in what we offer. Other spots will tell you have to have this guy's projections, and they sell you on that. And then that guy disappears and does his own thing. So, like, what are they really selling to you at that point? Is a question you should be asking yourself. And then you look at the affordability, the price tag, cheapest, most affordable price in the industry. It's very simple. This is your home for PGA. You look at the showdown stuff last year. I talk about it all the time. And there's a lot of volatility in PGA DFS, especially on the main slates. But in the showdown streets, like, you can really hone in and hammer down and have an advantage on the competition. And we saw it all last season, where competitors in the industry never even changed their round 2, round 3, round 4 projections. They just literally rolled with the same number all week long on their guys. And that's ridiculous when you factor in weather, you factor in tee times, you factor in where they're at in the leaderboard, their motivation. Like, we got guys working super hard on each and every individual round. So very clear. I mean, when you factor everything in, the price tag, what we have going on, what we've improved on, the team that we have, this is the spot for PGA DFS. There's no questions about it.
Yeah, the last flash, the reason I popped it up again, just is so confident in it that we'll actually give you free all access right through Super Bowl to February. Like, other people aren't even giving you anything with it. They're charging more, whatever it might be. This is the entire deal, $100 off, free all access through Super Bowl 59, which is, I believe, February 9th also. So something, up to mid-February almost. And then on top of that, there could be more bonuses coming, like we said. So nothing more to say on that. If you do want football only and to get in, well, I've got it there. I will show it off quick. You could still use BF50 to get all access for as little as $34.50. But if you are planning on being with us for golf, that's most certainly the way to go. And if you think the stone is good for NFL, wait till you get to golf, and especially PGA Showdown. There's no secret to why all those logos were atop the leaderboards round 2, round 3, round 4, and every week. So it's just going to be a constant thing. We're excited about that title. Anything you want to add, man? And then if not, you can get into your grand scheme overview for this.
Yeah. DGen, definitely go check out DGen's account on X, what he posted. I mean, it had to have taken a lot of time. I checked it out before we got on the show. Like, you want a little breakdown. I know nothing about golf. I'm always in the golf streets, though, so it does help. If I'm debating a 2v2 or 3v3, usually I go to my man Hoopster or Tambo. But now I can be like, click on the player's name, and he has bullet points on like what they are, and like you read the course breakdown, stuff like that, the show. So I'm really excited for that new piece that DGen has. And again, no extra cost for the members. And yeah, the golf team. I love MMA, I love NFL, everything, but our golf team probably compared to industry has to be the best we have here. And then in the industry, I believe the best golf team, no doubt about it. Again, I know nothing about golf. Had a pretty good year the past. Last year, my best year, the year before, pretty solid as well. So shout out to all you guys. And hey, if you're not in the golf streets, nothing better. You build your teams Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. My favorite day is Friday. I like the cut. Like the Saturday, Sundays, usually doing something, but I know Friday. I'm 6 for 6, money team. You're a 1 for 6, get onto the showdown stuff. So golf's a really cool format that way. Definitely check it out if you have not. You want me broad slate overview, or do you want me to go?
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about it off the top. I liked your breakdown of sort of that, but you could just sort of now break it into captains, or, elaborate on what you'd mentioned in the opening where you said, like, you can see some angles of attack here more than just your positive outlook was good based on what you see for the slate. Maybe it actually happens.
Yeah. So looking at it, 14-point favorites, 28 implied for the Packers. But you look at it, 2 guys are pretty much getting not all the captain ownership, but almost half of it. Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs. If they're going to put up 28 points, why can't Jaden Reed get 2 touchdowns? Christian Watson get 2 touchdowns. Romeo Dobbs get 2 touchdowns. Tucker Kraft, if you want to like go flip the build kind of, people will be spending up at captain. I think Tucker Kraft's viable to put up like 16 DraftKings points, which might be enough. I shouldn't say never. Rarely do I play defenses in captain. Curious to hear your guys' take, but I think the Packers defense has to be in play today at captain. If the Packers get out early, Spencer Rattler has to drop back a million times, Packers are going to absolutely tee off on like the Falcons. We saw that against Drew Lock. If that was a showdown slate, Falcons defense is on the winner. They made Drew Lock drop back a ton, etc. I think what I'm going to do is just not play any of these Saints at captain. And again, is that a huge stand? No. What does it look like? 11%, 12% and you're fading? I'll just say they're paying the rake. Yes, Spencer Rattler and Keandre Miller, if you're playing any of them, it is those two. They still have a big boy price tag, though. Like, they have to do something compared to Love, Jacobs, Reed, Watson, Dobbs. I think I'm going to just fade the Saints stuff. I think I'm going to I like Jacobs is definitely a great play, no doubt about that. But maybe I'll be like 23% Jacobs, 24, which is a little under, so I can get overweight. Love, Reed, Watson, Dobbs, Kraft. And then again, Packers defense, I want to hear your takes. But that's what I'm going to do today. Packers skill position players. Hope the passing game gets there since everyone's going to be Jacobs. It leverages off a little bit. And of course, I will play Jacobs teams. When you play those teams, maybe leave a little more money, tell a story, etc. So I think that's my plan of attack today.
I like the last part you said, especially like any 5-1 or 4-2 you're rolling tonight. I like leaving a bunch of money because they're likely the builds to win, but they're also likely the builds to be most duped. So it's a way to take a slate like this. And especially when these other options, there is such a price discrepancy. And who knows if it's going to be, MVS or someone way cheaper. So you just leave all that money. It's the same spot, same guy, same type of build. I am curious, Hoop, now to get your take, because this certainly feels like a night knowing you where it could just be a 3-captain night. And also, you don't like defenses at captain too often, but I would understand if you broke from that mold tonight as well. So what's your thoughts at captain?
Yeah, so I guess the one thing that definitely stands out to me on this slate as a whole, and I think it was a good point that Title had brought up, like the nice thing, yes, the Packer stuff is going to be popular tonight. There's no doubt about it. But the nice thing about this is there's so many different options on the Packers. It's not like it's one wide receiver, one running back situation where, they get all the work and nothing. Like, they spread it out. So to me, it's perfect for this scenario where you can play so many different guys. So yes, am I going to consolidate at captain? Yeah, but it's going to be what Title kind of laid out. I'm just not playing any Saints up there. And if it's a Saint that wins this slate, cool, no problem. You move on to the next one. It's probably going to be somewhere between 10 and 15% of the field play a Saints captain. I'll just be off that. And I don't even know, like, really who you make the case for. I mean, we can go with the, like, ongoing MVS joke, but, like, really, do you want to play? And he's actually questionable. He's one guy on the slate that it looks like is legitimately
Revenge narrative. Revenge is the chat.
He was on this team?
I don't even know what
he's been on so many teams.
Point, yeah. He's been on every team, but yeah, he was on the Pack.
He's always got revenge. So, like, maybe it just offsets. But to me, again, Title kind of touched on it. I kind of agree. I think it's like Jacobs that everyone goes to, which is, fine. It makes sense. He probably does have a big game, but like, I want to be overweight on all the passing attack for the Packers. And that's Love, Watson, Reed, Dobbs, Kraft. You have 5 guys that I feel, 4 pass catchers and the quarterback that could be above Jacobs. A lot of people are going to look at this and think it's a Jacobs game, and it could be. I mean, very possible. And I'm going to have some of it, but it's not going to be way over the field. Probably be a little under potentially, and then really hope that it's the passing game. I mean, it's just natural instincts to look at this and say, all right, they're favored by 2 touchdowns. It's got to be the running back that gets the job done today. So I want to kind of lean on the Packers passing attack here tonight and hope that's the way they go. But that's the nice thing about this slate, where there's so many. It's been the case with the Packers all season. That's why they've been difficult to stack on main slates, because you don't know who to stack Jordan Love with, because he spreads it out to so many different guys. On a showdown slate like tonight, it's much easier to embrace that. You can just play all these guys, and with the exception of Love, no one's coming in at double-digit captain that I see. I mean, we have, where is it? We got Reed at 8, Watson at 6, Dobbs at 5, Tucker Kraft at 3. So 8 and below on all the main pass catchers. I want to be overweight on all those guys. So that's going to most likely be my strategy here tonight, just to get overweight on the passing attack for the Packers, probably fade the Saints, and then be most likely a little underweight on Jacobs captain.
Yeah, I'm going to be exact same as you. I like that you broke that out because this is the thing on this. This is what I was just going to talk about. And you did it from an ownership perspective. I was even doing it from this side, like looking at our captain optimals. It's not like they're bad. They're just not getting anywhere near the levels of these, but it's what you said. We've seen so many games this season where it's, everyone just sees 14-point favorite and says it has to be the running back. Also seen this on the Stone. Yeah, it's a really good matchup on the ground and they're super favorites and you think that's got what they're going to want to do. But in order to get to this number, you just need to score points. There's tons of different things that change hands in the end zone, red zone, different thoughts. It could be Jaden Reed end arounds. It could be a bomb to Watson that gets him down there and the defense doesn't get there and he's in. It's just as good of a matchup through the air as it is on the ground. And so to me, I think that's the best way to go. And that's all the leverage. So to Title's point earlier of leaving out the Saints for the most part and then just going underweight, or I guess maybe even at field, we'll see what Josh Jacobs actually comes in at, but then using that money. And also I know he's second man up, but Love does spread the ball. If we were having a different slate of any kind and talking about quarterback even more, obviously I'd be giving credit here to Love as a good captain play because there's a guy that spreads it out like crazy. So there's lots of different ways you can build it and you can go Love with 3 pass catchers, double leverage because even though he's not low owned, he's lower owned than Josh Jacobs. And we know this going in. And then you can leave a bunch of money because if you put 1 or 2 guys from the other side or 4 from this side with him at captain and 1 other, you can definitely leave, like you said, Valdez-Scantling might not even play, still questionable as of the latest news. Well, you can leave all that money down to Kevin Austin, build your best Scantling lineup, run it down to Austin Jr., whoever else you want. So lots of different ways you can do it. And then 5 1s and 4 2s for the Green Bay side, which most people are going to be on. Just you can cap at 49,000, 48.5. You can do whatever you want to get different that way, but you could definitely see a lineup win tonight with 43,000 or something, 42,000 because of everything that we just talked about. So I'll go back to you, Title. Anything else to add? If not, after, Hoop and I going through it, if not, you can start us into quarterback a little bit more and then lead us into anything else from there that you want to go to.
Sounds like we're all 3 pretty much identical, and that's either going to be really good or really bad. So, yeah, running back room, it's definitely strong. Josh Jacobs, obviously a very strong play. I'll play him. Chris Brooks has definitely been the number 2 ahead of Emmanuel Wilson, and I definitely will be playing some Chris Brooks in my pool. If Josh Jacobs ever needs, like he breaks off a long run and needs someone to come in and spell him, it's usually Chris Brooks. Just say the Packers absolutely pound him. You go 5-1, you go Jacobs captain. I'm fine playing some Chris Brooks because if they're up 28-0 in the 4th, probably not Josh Jacobs in or whatever it is. Chris Brooks get there. How many people are hand building Josh Jacobs captain with the backup in the flex? 14-point favorites at home. Totally can see something like that work. So definitely playing Chris Brooks. Obviously Josh Jacobs, but that's one way you can get a little different. Keandre Miller, one of my favorite Saints for sure. He is coming with the most ownership. Obviously, like the Kevin Austins, the Pettis when we get there, Juwan Johnson, you have to play them for the salary relief. But Keandre Miller's ownership for a starting running back, like 30%, it has to stay in check because when people are spending up, they want to go to the Packers stuff. So a starting running back plus 165 to score, which is the second most likely on the slate, I'll be playing him. And because I'm not playing any of the Saints in the captain, I will probably be close to the field around that in the flex. Totally good with the starting running back, can catch the ball to the backfield a bit. Jamal Williams is the one I've been going back and forth on. Like I'm going to play some, but he's plus 500 to score. Like you look at that range, Juwan Johnson's kind of in that range a little bit. Wicks is kind of in that range. The Austins, Scantling's a little more. The defenses, I don't know. I guess he's kind of in a tier of his own. When I think of Jamal Williams, I think he has to score a touchdown to be optimal. Plus 500 was a lot worse than I expected when I was like, man, Keandre Miller might be between the 20s, Jamal more of a powerhouse goal line, but I guess Vegas doesn't really see like that. And again, if he doesn't get in the box, I have a hard time seeing him be optimal at 3,600. So I want your guys' take on that, but we do see some flex leverage there on the Stone. So that's the one that I'm really curious on what you guys have to say.
Yeah, I'll play anybody in that spot, like at 3,600. It's just kind of whatever. It's like I said, maybe that's all that happens is he falls in the box and it's, you'd say like plus 500 and you may as well just go take that. But at least in Showdown is a spot where we can pay it off. It's not like it's a main slate. So it's if he gets there, he gets there. We have him projected modestly, but 6.4 I think is about right. It's a fair number. So will that be enough on this slate? I don't know. It really depends on what these guys in here end up doing, but this is pretty wild because you look at the projection. Even if MBS is in, And then you got it with Jamal Williams right there. So yeah, I'll probably still have someone. Hoop, what about you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll probably have more Jamal Williams than Kendre Miller, to be honest. Just looking at it. I mean, not because I want to, but just because Kendre Miller at 9,400, it's like, man, like,
yeah,
he's got to be in the Jacobs range. He's got to be in the Jordan Love range. He's got to beat Jordan Reed, Watson, Dobbs. Like, he's got to beat a couple of those guys. And man, it could be rough. But like you said, though, the argument for him is starting running back, can catch some passes, and coming in at like 35% ownership. So I get both sides of it. I just know when I build, I'm just not going to get there all that much, or if any, and I'll probably just have more of the cheap guy in Williams at 36. I mean, it's very realistic to think like if they get into the red zone, and it's not likely that they get there very often because they're only projected to score 14, but it could be him that gets the work. I mean, it definitely could be. He's had big time touchdown seasons, with the Lions. I can't remember how many touchdowns it was. It was a crazy number. So he can score in the red zone. So I'll have some of him for sure. More of him than Miller, most likely. And then like the Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson, I'll be fine getting some. And even Mims, like you just never know with these teams that are dead. Like the Saints are an absolute dead team, tons of injuries. Like maybe Mims gets more work. So I don't even hate playing him at, what is he, $400? Yeah, 400. Like, so on the Saints side, I'll probably just side with the cheapies. Hope they just give those guys some extra work. Obviously, as much Jacobs as you can get, and then Brooks and Wilson. I mean, not super exciting plays, but if I need a little bit, I'll play a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough for that. Like, it's hard to tell if I love or hate the slate, because the only thing that is good about it, to Title's point earlier, and now what you just went through bringing up some of these backups and stuff, is that there is enough room to mix into your portfolio ways to get different on top of the things we talked about. I know some people out there probably, well, they all just like the favorite. No, it's pretty obvious why we like the favorite. Everybody does. We're giving you ways that you can use it to help build out. I love Title. I was going to bring this up too, but I like that spot where how many Jacobs, if it's only going to be 9% Chris Brooks ownership, yeah, a lot of that will probably be in Jacobs, people thinking our way, but it's like that still separates you from so much of the field when 60% of the field's playing Josh Jacobs here. The captain is 31. What are we, we're getting way more of the field playing Jacobs than anything else in here. 30 at captain. How much will actually have Brooks in the flex? And so that's where you can get a little bit different. And then if you leave salary as another, you always say there's levels to it. Go that way. That's one level. Then go leaving the salary level. Then what if it's a 4-2 instead of most will have that in only a 5-1? Maybe there's a way it works. I don't know, but I think that's what is intriguing and makes things like this work. And then to Hoop's point on the other side, it could be anything that falls in the box over there. And I think that's the whole point. Like, again, you can upgrade your lineup in other places, but who's to say, Wicks doesn't have a better day than Reed? Didn't we just have this recently where Wicks had a better day than Reed? And that can almost be similar or around the same as like a Miller to Williams. How many people are going to have that double and leave 7K? Is it ideal? No. If you're hand building, probably not. I'm saying, but realistically, those are the types of things that can happen on a slate like this. So it is an interesting one from that perspective. Title, I'll go back to you, man. Anything else at running back that you thought of there? Or if not, go into wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Jamal like you guys. Like I was gonna play him, it's just how much, but you guys sold me a little more. He's way cheaper than Keandre Miller for sure. I guess I'll throw it to you. How many Keandre Miller, Jamal Williams teams do you think you'll have? It doesn't sound great to me by any means, but I mean,
together?
Together.
Yeah, 0.
Zero. I'm
You'll make a rule.
I would, yeah. I mean, I just can't imagine. What's the scenario where they both get there, right? I mean, it's tough to
Saints win. Yeah, it's really tough to see.
Yeah, Saints win.
Building different for that. It's like you'd have to almost run into hey, they're going to score 14 points. Each of them score a touchdown and somehow get yards on the ground. Yet, how's the game go? They're behind in the game. It would be really random for that to happen. I'd rather pull the whole string and just leave the money on the table from Miller to Williams than I would try and work out something like that. And I know the upgrades that you can get on the Packers side, but that was my point about the upgrades the price doesn't always equal the output. It's football, not basketball, right? And even in
100%.
basketball games, but it's a main point for Showdown. That's why it's such a fun game.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, that's a really good point. Projection is a lot more volatile. Like basketball, it's as narrowed in as possible because the minutes, usage, etc. A lot of touchdown variance in this. Baseball, I mean, projection is really tough with home run variance. So for sure, receiving room, I like Watson and Dobbs more than Jaden Reed due to the snap counts, really. Like, they're cheaper in price. It is closing the gap. Props are all pretty similar to an extent, but Christian Watson and Dobbs are outstanding. Like, they're on the field about 80%. Reed's somewhere between 55, 60. Wicks has continued to go down a little bit. Of course, Reed's more like the slot guy, gadget guy. They like end around little plays like that. So by no means am I saying don't play Jaden Reed, but look at ownership. Watson, Dobbs, less owned. They're cheaper. They're on the field more. For all those reasons, I'm good with Watson and Dobbs. I prefer them over Reed if having to pick. Then I'd go Reed, and then I'd go Wicks. Wicks is definitely a touchdown guy, can make some big plays, but he has to do something at 4K. And even when he's on the field, there's just so much competition for targets. Like, you got to be open because you don't know who Love throws it to. So for all those reasons, give me the guys that are on the field the most. Watson, Dobbs, I like how they're cheaper than Reed, and I like lower owned. Saints side, you're forced to play them because of their pricing. Like, the popular builds will be spend up Packers. You have to play a Saint or two. People will find cheap Saints. If I had to rank them, like assuming Scantling plays, it'd be Kevin Austin and Pettis for sure, and then Scantling because of his price. However, with all that being said, one throw to Scantling, as we know, can absolutely change everything. So 17, 15, 13%. Have we ever seen a wide receiver room like that low owned in the flex combined? If you think they're trailing by 14, 5-1, stuff like that, garbage time, 6 catches for 60 yards for Pettis probably is enough. Like 12 is a ton. If they have to throw and they're behind a bunch, you got to play some of these guys. So the strong take I have is, it's not too strong, but Watson Dobbs over Reed, and then the Austin Pettis savings over Scantling.
Yeah, I'll kick it to you on this too. I've got a few thoughts there, but what do you got at the wide receiver spot here? Anything to add on?
I like the point about like Jaden Reed because it gives you, a way to naturally leave some money on the table. And there's not that much of a difference between Reed and Watson and Dobbs, except the fact that the price tag is more expensive on Reed. And it's not a ton. I mean, you're leaving 1,000 going down to Watson, and then 800 going down to Dobbs. But I like that call. I mean, I'm going to have all these guys. I'm going to play a lot of Jordan Love captain team. So I'm going to have a lot of Reed. I'm going to have a lot of Watson. I'm going to have Dobbs. I'm going to have Wicks and potentially some Bo Melton. I mean, we talk about Bo Melton all the time, and maybe it's just like 1 or 2 plays that I have stuck in my head. But like when
I will say, he got 2 snaps last week.
Just 2?
Just 2 snaps.
Yeah. I have something stuck in my head with him where I just can remember him getting a bomb look down the field. Now, he didn't catch it, don't get me wrong, but it's still stuck in my head, and I feel the need to always bring him up. But, it's not like I'm playing 20% Melton. It would be like, just in Jordan Love captain teams maybe to make everything work. But the other 4 for sure, Reed, Watson, Dobbs, and Wicks, I think are all fine options. And again, I like these guys. I like the 3 top ones in captain and in flex and really in those Jordan Love captain teams. On the Saints side, yeah, I mean, you got to play him out of necessity really on the slate. MVS, we got to see. He's the only true questionable guy, I think, on the slate. Everyone tends to think that he's going to be in. So kind of going on the assumption that he's going to be in. But I definitely prefer Kevin Austin half the price of MVS. I mean, 3,200, I think he's fine. And then, if for some reason MVS is out, you're going to see these guys become some of the more popular plays on the slate, like Kevin Austin, Pettis, and Cedric Wilson. So as of now, they're all, again, necessities on the slate. But if MVS is out, like these guys are going to get really, really popular. But the floors are very low. But again, you just kind of have to play these guys. You really just don't have much of a choice. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's a good breakdown. The one thing I was going to add that you both made me think of right now is, man, I like building in sets, and I'm going to like it for this slate as well because Jordan Love and those receivers, they're all solid. Like I like Reed, Watson, Dobbs. You can make a case for other guys. The other side, it's like you said, we'll see on MBS, but even Austin, and I'm already told you I'm good with leaving the money, but the lineups that have Love and Jacobs have to just be so high. They're like 80 and 90% owned. But realistically, if Love's actually to get there at the spot, of course he can throw it to Jacobs. Of course they can still run it with him, but there has to be an opportunity here where it's like 2 or 3 of those receivers, regardless of price, maybe even like a kicker or the defense or something else in there with it, and then you just pick something from the other side or a couple spots. I don't love Spencer Rattler, and we already talked through that. So my point being, that's what happens though, right? Title with the money, like you can just go get Jacobs. Any line, you'll have it. You can go, oh, I don't want Reed in this one. Let me go back up to Jacobs. I don't want Watson. Oh, but I can afford Jacobs now. So it just naturally happens, I think, for most people, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And what are your thoughts on, like, the more I was thinking, I think I prefer to Jaden Reed captain than I do to him for the flex because, again, he's on the field for like 50% of the time, but a lot of those plays are big plays, like end arounds, like design plays, like the Marvin Mims of the world. So if he gets there, he just fully gets there. And again, 7% captain. So I think I prefer Reed in the captain than I do the flex. And I prefer Reed and Watson over Dobbs in the captain because Watson's the big play guy, just a vertical route, can get there easily. Dobbs, yeah, he's had big games, but usually he'll need 2 touchdowns, something like that. Reed and Watson have that one play 70-yard upside. So yeah, I like Watson, Dobbs more in the flex. I like Reed, Watson more than Dobbs in the captain the more I think about it.
I'm sorry. It's so close to the holidays here. I got to have some fun. And this guy's trying to land a serious point, and Hoop's smiling. I'm laughing. I know we're both looking at the exact same thing. This man said, look at all the dust on Titletown ceiling fan. Did you fire the help? What's the location for this one, Title? Where are we at right now?
My mom's house, my parents' house, and it's the old room that I used to live in. So yeah, it's probably dusty. No one lives in here.
Last time it was dusted.
Yeah, it's probably really dusty up there for sure.
I gotta say, Mama Title is probably one of the nicest ladies I've ever met in my life. Just an absolute sweetheart.
Yes, she is.
Nice lady.
I believe that because Title is one of the nicest people I've ever met. But I bet you she's still saying he can come clean his own ceiling fan if he wants.
Yeah, his ass is getting up there and dusting. As nice of a lady as I am, his ass is still getting up there and cleaning off that fan when he comes.
That's really dusty. Now that I look, how could you see it like that? Holy cow.
Dude's watching us with in the 4K.
What?
4K.
How the heck he zoomed in and all that? Stoner's really stoned today, zooming in on my fan. Come on.
That's zoomed it right out, man. I had to get an extra shot there.
It is really.
You can see that.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's a hell of a call out right there.
That is insane.
4K curved TV for sure.
Oh my god,
man, this guy got the 4K 90-incher at home or something, ready to rock it. Just
that's crazy.
I didn't see it, but I do. We'll get back on track. I do really like that call and agree with it because that is the thing. And when Reed even first was coming out and doing his thing, it was when, by the way, Debo. Really good play yesterday. What did I say, Hoops? I said we played so long, it just has to be the game that they finally use him. But that's what they used to say about Reed, and we haven't seen it so much lately. He's pissed a lot of people off, but man, he's electric and can find his way through it. The end arounds, the sweeps, all these different things.
I did take I take notes during the show. I don't know if you guys noticed or if you know that, but I did put a note down to increase Debo ownership, and I did, and I actually had a good day yesterday, so it worked out.
Anytime we're even doing business calls or business conversations, Hoop's like, 1 second.
Yeah.
You got to write that down so I don't forget. He got his notes, man. He's an organized guy, so I appreciate it. But yeah, I love that call, actually, Title. And then back to that was my original take is I think what I was saying is if Love is in the captain and you got Watson and Dobbs and Reed, I think there'll be people that will just say, it's easy to still get to Reed. Not like you're fighting with salary constraints on the other side. You do have to play a Saint. And so they'll just move one of Reed up, or I can't see a world where Watson and Dobbs both get there. A lot of people think like that. So I definitely think it's interesting from that perspective. What else do we got here? Hoop, anything else you want to add? If not, take us into the tight end.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just pulling up the tight end stuff. I'm still laughing at the comments. It's so good. That's
fun.
I mean, dude.
So that's Title got to take notes.
You ain't got to worry about that. You don't got to worry about that shit in my household. Mrs. Hoop is, I tell you what, probably the cleanest person of all time. She is.
Do you help with cleaning it all or no?
Hell no, man. I do the yard work. Yeah, I see that's one thing. If you are, just a little life lesson for anyone out there that's a little bit younger. When you get married, you get a house, just establish things. And as a guy, just step up and say, I got the outside covered, right? I got the outside. I got the yard. I got whatever you need outside. Inside, Not doing any of that shit. No cooking, no cleaning, no grocery shopping. That's on the no list for me. I handle the yard, and that's part of the reason I'm like, oh, why don't you get a yard service? Fuck no, I'll never get a yard service because you get the yard service, then your ass is going to have some responsibilities inside the house. So just cut the grass on your own, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, you solved life right there, guys.
Solved it.
That's the perfect setup.
Yeah, perfect segue to tight end. Yeah, I mean, so it looks like Luke Musgrave is going to be active. Not huge on the slate, but he's 1,600. It would just be like a Jordan Love captain, 1 touchdown sort of thing. But Tucker Kraft, I think, is fine. Juwan Johnson, probably a little bit biased because we had the touchdown, Juwan Johnson touchdown, I believe it was last week or the week before. Probably my favorite Saints play at 4,400. I mean, we know these shitty quarterbacks. What do they like to do? Dump it off to these tight ends. So Juwan Johnson, yeah, I'll say it, probably definitely my favorite Saints play on this slate at 4,400. And then you can even play Foster Moreau as well. Just seems like he always kind of is getting red zone targets. So in terms of the pass catchers for the Saints, I mean, Juwan Johnson, my favorite, and then I'm fine with Moreau, and then Tucker Kraft is a good option. So tight end's pretty strong for me. Musgrave, maybe a little bit in Jordan Love captain teams.
I'm still dying about the segue here, but we'll kick it over to and you did the segue. The perfect.
I'm telling you though, man, that is so underrated because like as a guy, you don't want to get locked into that shit.
I ain't gonna lie, Hoop, that would never fly here. I gotta help when it's cleaning day for sure. I get way less. Well, yeah, I get way less, but I gotta clean. And she cooks always. I clean the dishes, but I don't really do yard work outside because it's Arizona. I just pour rocks down. So I got to do it. I mean,
every situation's a little bit different, but you got to kind of, leverage yourself. I have a feeling Tambo is more involved in some of the inside stuff. I think you grocery shop, don't you?
Well, they can't go outside. It's negative 10 degrees half the year.
It's snowed out. I'll pay for the yard work for sure. I like grocery shopping. My guy Wardo had it covered. He said, I'll cook when I feel like it. I know how to cook. And I love cooking. It is fun. The groceries, I don't mind just getting out if I'm done at the gym and then I go, I have a protein shake and then walk over to the gym, get the groceries, bring them back to the car. It's close by, so I'll do that. I'll pick up the liquor if we're drinking. So go to the liquor store. That's easy. Yeah. And then mostly after that, it's, inside I'm a bit OCD. So it's like I like my kitchen to be clean. So it's like I'll just naturally put the stuff away. I teach my kids about it, that sort of thing. But for cleaning the house, most of the cooking, all the stuff inside, there's no chance. I'm living in this one room and I'm dusting my shelves off so they're not catching me on 100-inch TVs and calling me out because I see Title still doing a look back there. Like
I know
he's like, what else I got lingering back here?
Well, the thing is, it's like that is so bad right there, and I see nothing else. And someone made me question, like that's not dust. It has to be, but I'm really curious because why is it not on all the other fans? Like. Why is it not on the other stuff? I don't want to go and touch it, though, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it collects.
If you want to go check it, I can talk about tight end for a minute.
All right, fine.
Your spot. Yeah, see, you got it. All right. Well, I did want to note, you said it already, Hoop. It did come up like 11 minutes ago, the Musgrave news. I know people were kind of expecting it anyway, but that's definitely something. Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, but it never starts out this way though. It's a process. Like the young lady, even when back when I was getting started in a relationship, it never starts out that way. But you have to just kind of start leveraging yourself into those situations. I always start, let's go before kids. Let's go grocery shopping together, and you do that because you want to keep them happy or trying to get laid. So you kind of just go along with it. Once you have kids, like you get to the point where you're just like, all right, fuck this. Like I'm not going grocery shopping. Like it takes time. So this isn't like a day one thing. That's why I'm giving you the advice. I know you and Title are younger fellows. That's why I'm telling you this. You got to start the process a little bit. Start the process. It's not going to happen all on day one. Start the process, and I guarantee you'll get there.
Do you get this one ever too, Title? Do you ever get this one?
How many times I've heard this? No, I haven't. Never got that.
1950. You get your ass out here and clean the living room too. No. If I'm cleaning, you're cleaning. That's new ones over there. He's getting ripped, dude.
Yeah, he is. That's funny. Yeah, you got to keep him happy. Like I go grocery shopping when I'm available. If I'm not available, she'll do it. So you got to. It's all a balance. Everyone's got to figure out. Hoop. He found a great balance over there by the sound of it. That's for sure.
Well, I'm saying it's like. It just goes well though with my situation because like I said, Mrs. Hoop, very, very clean, probably borderline like OCD clean. So no matter what, even if I say, all right, yeah, I'm going to step up and clean the house, My version of cleaning is definitely not going to be good enough for Mrs. Hoop. So it would be like duplicating things. So I can.
Yeah, she checks my work too. Yeah, it's not. I'm like you, so I've learned I really got to lock in if I'm going to do it. So I only got to do it again.
Yeah,
that's the key, Hoop. You got to do it. You got to be just good enough, but bad enough that they're like, I just have to do it myself anyway.
That's part of it, though.
Yeah,
that's serious. So that's part of it. Like early on, she'd send me with a list of, go grocery shopping. I'll tell you what. If you're a young guy in a new relationship or whatever it is, she sends you with a list to go grocery shopping. Make sure you fuck up a couple things on purpose. Like get a couple things wrong, the wrong brand, get a brown banana or something like that. And then she's never going to trust you to go again. And then she's going to be like, all right, well, I'll just do this myself because I want it done the right way. And then you're off the hook forever. And
then she's eventually like, you know what? Can you at least cut the lawn? You're like, of course, I got it.
There it is. You should write a book, man.
It's a skill set. It's a skill set. Who got it all figured out? Like they said, yeah.
Yes, he does.
All right, Tyler, did you check the dust? Now talk.
Yeah, it's dusty. It's dusty for sure. I ain't gonna lie. It's on more than one side.
Another segue. So is the tight end.
This is good. Oh no, hang on.
Well, yeah, I see it.
From Joanne.
I don't think I'm hoping tight ends aren't as dusty as my fan because I'm going to be playing 3 tight ends pretty heavy. Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, Tucker Kraft, and especially these Saints tight ends. I prefer them to the Saints wide receivers. They run a lot of 12 personnel. 73% Juwan was on the field for, 64% Foster. A bad quarterback, if the Packers get after him a little bit, they blitz him, who are you going to dump it down to? Your safety valves, which is your 2 tight ends. So I think Juwan and Foster at their price, definitely strong plays. Tucker Kraft's a monster too at 5.8K, kind of in a tier of his own. The Packers defense, I think, is a very strong play too. Tucker Kraft, we have lower own though, and I wouldn't be surprised Packers D gets steam a little bit, and it's even more of a difference. So build a Packers team, drop down to Kraft, etc. Luke Musgrave will be active. I don't think I want to mess with it. I think it's going to be definitely, it feels like he has to be limited to an extent. He hasn't played since, week 4? And even when he was playing there, like 33% of snaps, 25%, 44%. Love likes to push the ball downfield. He has so many other weapons. He's 1,600, so like if you have a couple percent, fine if you're playing a lot of lineups, but it would take me probably 10 plus lineups for sure to get any Musgrave. But Kraft, Juwan, Foster, definitely in on him.
And this guy knows about old Doyle Brunson. I know titles get back in the poker streets, the super system for marriage. But Richie, I don't need to be. I haven't read the full handbook from Hooper yet. But I'm not, if my wife wants me to bring home limes for margaritas and I'm drinking them too, I'm bringing home the proper limes because I'm excited about you don't be messing up the drinks when that's the whole fun for the night. It's you got to bring back the brown banana, like he said, or something like that. That's something you don't really care about. That's the difference.
Unless he doesn't want the mojitos, maybe he wants her to sip on something a little bit stronger, just get straight to the point. I mean, there could be some gameplay. Hey, honey, I fucked up the mints, but I got shots of tequila ready to go.
You know your wife by then. That's a first date thing, Hoop. He's not setting up for the first night. This is turning into bad news now. But he says, hey, I was headed to Home Depot for a drill to put my grill together. So that's your excuse. You're cooking up some steaks for after the fact. Maybe he's trying to get into the red wine or something instead of the mojitos. Yeah. But good conversation here heading into the holidays. Okay. This is excellent stuff. You can tell it's a great slate win. All right. Yeah. Anything on kickers and D's you want to talk about? I do like the tight end stuff they just talked about, opening it up with Johnson and Moreau specifically. But anything else there? If not, you can take us to kickers and D's.
Yeah, I like that call about the 2 tight ends playing for sure with the Saints. I think that makes sense. Anytime we see these expensive defenses, multiple double-digit favorites, they always get steamed in terms of ownership. We're showing 27 for the Packers. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's probably mid-30s at least. Maybe even approaching 40. We've seen it a couple times where these slam dunk defenses approach 40%. So it's hard to project that. No one's going to project it that high, but I just know it's going to be higher than anyone's showing, and it happens every single time. I'll play them, but again, I can't get to that number, so I'll be most likely underweight, and then like with the Saints, probably none. McManus, yep, sure, good with him. Tough with is it Group A? I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I don't think he's gonna be kicking many field goals tonight. So not super.
He's a groupie.
Yeah.
The tag along. This guy's talking about a bush, some grills, and a mojito. Three of those in a story. What are we talking about here? For somebody that just tunes in, it's a mint bush, ladies and gentlemen.
Bush.
So
what does a mint bush even look like? Like, is it just like little leaves?
For this one, I can promise you that.
Bush. Let's see what. Can you pull that up? Can you Google it live on air? Let's see. Mint.
She had a mint bush.
It's like purple. It's actually quite pretty, to be honest with you. It's like a purple little bush or plant. It's actually a nice thing. You could put that outside for sure, right?
You're a big plant guy, Hoop. You do all the yard stuff. You do some plants.
I do. Once a year before the season, you see what's dead, and then you tear it out and replace it with some new stuff. But I'm not deep into it, but I find things at Home Depot that look nice and they're easy to plant. Now, I'll go with. But this mint bush looks very nice. Like that's like a nice little purple bush. I might have to have one of those on the side of the house or something.
Yeah, get a mint bush and send it out when you do the next chewy. It's a good call. I don't know if you could say he's undervalued though. I mean, he's like the number one, almost 100% owned play on the slate. Like everybody knows he's the best play in the best spot, the best matchup, the best setup for the game. Like all that. That's what this whole thing's been about, is trying to look for ways to get different. We did give some ideas off the top with the roster construction thoughts, the Chris Brooks thoughts, the 5-1-4-2 salary on the table thoughts. So we're trying to give you as much as we possibly can. But remember, this is a edutainment industry here. Like we're in the education with entertainment stuff. We're trying to bring both sides, all these free shows. So we appreciate you guys watching with us. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing the channel. But and the mint bushes on the side of the house, and see how big do these things get, Hoop? We got, how much can you grow a mint bush?
Yeah, but I'm down the mint bush rabbit hole now, because like it says it has a strong scent to it. Does it keep like critters away potentially because I might have one of these next year. So I mean, next year is going to be like the lawn mowing video that I put on Twitter combined with like the trimming of the mint bush potentially. We'll see. I mean,
trimming of the mint bush. All right, Title, anything from you on the kickers and D? Anything else you want to add? I know you mentioned Packers at captain off the top. Anything you want to flip back to there? If not,
oh my gosh, he's spot on. So here's the number one bet. We'll move on after this, and it's because this is a 14-point spread game, and mint bushes keep pests and critters away. Man,
you're gonna have like 4 of them next year,
and the bees love it for pollinating purposes. Yeah, this is mint one. So yeah, they do grow. It looks like quite a bit. It wants.
All right, I'm done talking about bushes. You can do that. Yeah, I don't do the yard work. Yeah, you will have one. I bet you will. Yeah. I'm going to agree with Hoop though. I hope Saints defense 9%. I bet you it's probably like 5 or something. But they're paying the rake in my opinion. Packers, I think, pound the football. Love does throw a couple picks. But like I don't know, 3,400. Give me Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson for a little more. Wicks is even in that range. I prefer him a little bit. The Pettis, Austin's. I think Saints D is the worst play on the slate, and I don't like Groupie much at all either because, I was gonna ask Hoop. I was like, if I send some clips, what's Mrs. Hoop saying?
No, that's part of working out the deal. Trust me, it's all good.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I bet you Mrs. Hoop would agree with everything.
She would fully agree with all this. Yeah, she knows she does not want my ass cleaning the house. She does not want me cooking. But the irony of all this is she literally just rolled up from the grocery store as we're talking.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's why Mrs. Hoop would agree. But I don't like Groupie much either. Like if they're down 17-0, if it's 4th and 3, why are they kicking a field goal at the 30? Like Saints aren't playing for anything either, so don't like Groupie.
Ask the Bears why.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that
was one of the worst. I don't know how these. I know it's a new interim coach, but like literally any other job in the world, you mess up. That's the dumbest decision. It's like the worst thing you could possibly do. Fire them at halftime. The owner should walk down on the field with authorities and grab them and fucking kick their ass out. It's unbelievable.
The problem is these owners don't trade because of Madden ratings or the GM. Yeah, so like they're all stupid.
Nuts, man. You don't have to be. Everyone's like, oh, nice. You're sitting on your couch at home. You think you know? I don't have to know anything to know math, and you do not kick a field goal there ever. I don't care what it is. There's zero reason. Literally zero
reason. These owners are so stupid. Just hearing even like the Jerry Jones, like, oh, look at this. Like Mike McCarthy has these guys playing like they're contending for the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? You're not contending for the Super Bowl, and you were just eliminated from playoff contention. So
they're
I
like,
don't
they don't want to be shut out. They don't want to get blown out. It's like you made the worst decision that actually caused that to happen more. And
You're
like
in the NFL, you don't get like these moral wins along the way or these rah-rah wins. Like it's crazy, man. These
and it's Mike McCarthy getting the praise. Like none of these other dudes, not Cooper Rush or CD with the bad shoulder. It's Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, got them playing like they're trying to win a Super Bowl, but you're not, and you just got eliminated from playoff contention. Like it couldn't be more clear that you failed at your job this year.
Yeah,
I'm so fired up. I dropped an F-bomb. The boys know I never say it, and this one got me. I just can't understand it. It literally drives me crazy sitting there watching that happen. So, I mean, like you said tonight, why would they? Who knows? Maybe they're getting blown out, but I'm not interested either. I'm just saying I just don't understand these teams and the decisions. It's a way to get beat even faster and easier. Like there's no protection in this thing.
Maybe that's what they want, though. At the end of the day, who knows? Maybe they want to make that negative EV decision to lose, and like that's how they do it without like fully tanking. And who knows? I mean, it's bad though.
If Jerry Jones still has the ability to get erections like without medication, like he must have been rock hard in that suite when Zeke found his way in there. I mean, seriously, he must have been ready to fucking roll when he saw Zeke creep into the end zone. Had to have been.
Get him, Hoop. Get him right now. He's like
Green Bay. It's Green Bay and Baltimore in the Super Bowl.
I've been saying, man, with these injuries, like Detroit's right for the picking now. I mean, without any of these injuries, to me, they're clearly the best team in the NFL. I mean, they've endured some season-changing injuries along the way here, and I've conceded. I conceded the title. Like, they're right for the pick. Can they still get there? I think they can. I think they still can get there for sure. Their offense, as you saw yesterday, is explosive, but I think it's wide open. Unfortunately, I wish I could come back with some ammo, but man, I just I don't have it. And Sirianni is trash. I'm actually my least concern in the NFC is the Eagles. Sirianni's a moron. He's a moron. He is a dumb coach.
If they have to drop back
before yesterday, I thought they were finally, dialing into something. I liked them on the First Look show. Then I watched that game yesterday, and I was like, oh man, maybe that was a bad take. Like, I don't know.
If they're behind or if they're shutting down Saquon, it's a 5-step drop back, a rollout, and a throwaway every time, unless it's AJ Brown slant. Like I'm not worried about them at all in the NFC.
I'd be in the NFC definitely more worried about the Vikings, Packers.
The Rams are tough too.
Rams, the thing with the Rams, they'll play to their strengths, man. They'll just they do a good job of playing to their strengths, and I mean, Puka's on a whole nother level right now.
Did you know before this show started what roast sparks were?
Yes.
No.
So I had
never heard commercial all the time. It's like the online Viagra, essentially, right?
It's a mix. I had to just go look it up because I learned about Prostanteras today, which if you didn't know is the official name for a mint bush. Prostantera. You can go look that up. But the roast sparks are a combination of Viagra and Cialis double dose mixed. You really are on them things, man. If you got that going.
That's the real juice. That's the real juice right there.
The best show of the year for Showdown is the worst game of the year for Showdown. That's funny, but I think we're going to find our way still throughout. We did give other information. I don't know, Hoop. Do you have anything for FanDuel? The Prostantera Roast Sparks plays of the day. Like, did you give something?
We got to start working on these sponsorships, man. Just imagine if we had like a mint bush combined with Viagra, Cialis sort of sponsorship. I mean, that
one would pay. The Rose Sparks one would really.
Isn't this like is the demographic for that sort of thing like middle-aged men that are struggling to get it going, or is it like for older dudes? Viagra is always for older dudes. This sounds like it might be more like middle-aged, ready to roll.
Rose Sparks will get it fired up. Need a little sparks where there's give a little action there, but the Rose Sparks one could be a real thing. I'm going to need that to get me going. The chat's already fired up. They're ready to purchase.
Sponsored by Rose Sparks. Let's go, boys. Time to talk some football.
Oh man, it might not even be legal, is it? I don't know. You said it's on TV,
I'm pretty sure it's one of those where you can just do the online. I've seen the commercials. You do the online diagnosis thing where they'll just ship it directly to your house and keep it. Not that I know or anything. I can.
Well, the guy just sent me the email about the sponsorship that fast. He said it's simple. He said they're 15 minutes faster on average because they're different than traditional Viagra. They dissolve under your tongue, so they activate faster than other leading medications. So that's why Roast Sparks is the way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm honest with everyone. Like, I have never ran into those issues, and I don't anticipate anytime soon. When it's time to go, your boy's ready to go. I can promise you that.
We got to get Manscaped to trim up the mint bush, and then we get Roast.
It all comes full circle.
Oh God, too good, man. Anything on FanDuel you see there?
You just know even more so. It's going to be Jacobs and Love in the MVP by a wide margin. We're showing what is that, 60%, and it could even be higher than that. Just the two obvious plays. So if you want to get different, it would be, to me, the Packers pass catchers, but they're probably going to need 2 touchdowns to get there. It's tough over there to make the case against Love or Jacobs, especially with Love, because he does spread it out a lot, like we always talk about. So those two will be massively owned. Any pricing discrepancies, starting quarterback Radler is only $12K, which is cheap for a starting quarterback. Jamal Williams, $7,500, probably a better play on FanDuel, where if he gets in the box once, it's probably enough to need him. Kevin Austin is $7K flat, Pettis $6K. The main thing is definitely those two, like Jacobs and Love, massive ownership in the MVP spot.
Yeah, I'd be looking to put, just again, there's no right answer here. I'm just thinking about it, but I'd be looking for one of these lower owned Saints. So if it ends up being like a Kevin Austin or a Pettis or something like that, and leaving the money, because the MVPs are probably correct. Like it's probably just going to land on those two and be right over there. You only get the 5 spots. There's no difference in the money, nothing like that. So I just, play one of those MVPs, leave some salary, play a low owned option, and then hope it goes in your favor if you want to have something happen. Title, any thoughts on FanDuel, and then any final thoughts on this slate?
Would have said those same words. This is a slate, I think, eating the chalk at MVP and just going all in on those two is the way to go. To be honest, I think whatever volume you're going to play on FanDuel, you play on DraftKings, because 99.99%, how much can you fill if you wanted to on DraftKings tonight? $700,000 or whatever if you wanted to max every contest. Like, take it in the $3.20 max or do, I think it's an awful FanDuel slate personally. The pricing, if I had to pick, Jaden Reed looks a little overpriced on FanDuel. Romeo Doubs looks a little overpriced on FanDuel. Maybe I'd lean into that a little bit, but if you're playing Love Jacobs only at MVP, you're running out of salary pretty quick. So FanDuel's gross. Final thoughts? Yeah, we had a lot of fun on the show for sure, but I think it's a really clear no Saints captain for me. I like the tight end rooms on both sides. The Packers pass catchers, I think, are under-owned, and that's a way I'll be hoping that one of them gets at the captain because it leveraged some Jacobs. But, of course, I'll be playing some Jacobs, and when I do, I'll probably be leaving more money in the captains. 5-1s, I'm fine playing at Chris Brooks. Just really be thoughtful on how you build today. 5-1 Packers, 4-2 Packers will be as high-owned as we ever see on a showdown slate.
Buddy said Diddy time in the chat. We got to get this out of here. This was the question, though, being serious, that I actually was curious about. So what is the camp again? It's like Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, LaFleur. Who's the other? They always show the picture. Who do you remember? Who else is in that? What is it? The Mike tree or whatever they say it. Who else is in that? Who am I missing? The chat will know too. And Hoop, we got to find a winner for the monthly membership. We got to find maybe.
It's got to. That's like a no-brainer. It's got to be the dude that spotted the dust on Title's
Yeah. Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, I think, was the other one.
Was it?
I thought this picture makes it look like it. Maybe.
Yeah. Check that out. The chat will let us know. I'm going to go back and find that comment because they are the winner. I love that call. Anybody with eyes that good, wait till you get a hold of the stone. My God, you'll be, and with the way to see the future like that and the stone, you'll be all set.
I think he was just under. I think McDaniel was under McVay, but I think it was just those three with the Shanahan.
Is still a puss though for getting all rattled about the Lions. Was that him, right? That got all bent out of shape because of the Lions fan, when he was walking out or walking through the tunnel like that. You got to be above that shit when you're an NFL coach. That's weak. That's so weak. So weak. It was him, right?
Poe Degen Stoner. You can email us info@shipitnation.com. Just take a screenshot of your account, and we'll get you set up with a month of all access. And that's where I was going with it, Hoop and Title. Let's just do those three real quick. The show's over. We had a lot of fun on this one. We appreciate everybody, and it's going to be a great holiday season. Merry Shipmas, happy holidays to everybody celebrating whatever holiday it is you do celebrate. But I will say, Hoop, those three how would you rank them if you have to pick those three?
Which ones? What are the options?
It's McVay,
LaFleur and Shanahan.
LaFleur, Shanahan, and someone said it is McDaniels, but
Yeah, he might be. He might have been. I know he was under McVay. I didn't know if he was under the. We can throw him in.
I'll
there
say
too.
McDaniels is he's the Miami coach.
Yeah.
He's the fourth for sure. He's a fraud, man. Like he's I mean, he just looks like a fraud. He's just trying to play it up like way too much. Like he's definitely at the bottom. Shanahan to me is definitely Shanahan's part of this group, right?
Yeah.
Shanahan's at the top. Like I think he's the best by far, and then it's between LaFleur and who's the other? McVay. I go McVay and then LaFleur, but they're pretty close to me. McVay's been like fraudulent at times, like very, very fraudulent in terms of play calling, but he finds a way to win. Like they've had a significant injury, so he's 2. Yeah, this guy's an absolute joke, man. He's a joke.
The best is Ian Harditz's comment, me on LinkedIn versus me on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a great comment. That is a great comment. That is so true. That is so true.
What did you think, Title?
I think I'm in agreement. I think LaFleur is overrated. I think they have a really good team. I watched them with Rodgers for a little bit, though, and there was a lot of questionable stuff. And I know that everyone hates Rodgers all like this, so they might chirp, but I think Rodgers has a brilliant football mind and can read defenses and stuff, and he made Mike McCarthy what he is, and I think he had a lot of audibles and I think taught LaFleur a lot of stuff where he got better on the offensive end. So I guess I'll put him third because he did adjust, but I think he was very overrated to start, and he got carried a bit there. But I agree. I think it's Shanahan 1, McVay 2, probably McDaniels 4 in that. But I'd like to see McDaniel with someone other than like a Tua. Like I think his offensive scheme in mind is definitely there. The motions, how he gets A-chain the ball and A-chain the ball and stuff like that. But they've been beat up. But yeah, I think I agree with Hoops ranking.
I'm going to say something bad, but I'll say, man, only one more no slide from Tua, and you'll be able to see him without Tua because this man does not get down. And even like last week or the week before, I guess it was before this Sunday, it was last game. But man, this guy does not listen, and he knows he's got to be on check. Also, these ads on check, they've been listening the whole time. Look, talking about cleaning microwaves now and driving the groceries home and all this, all these targeted ads, man. We're getting crushed, but we'll leave it on that. I think it's going to be a good one. You guys, we'll be back, right? We got the show tomorrow. Actually, I should note that. The 2-game slate. We're going to cover it tomorrow morning here on the channel for the Kansas City at Pittsburgh, Baltimore at Houston, Christmas Day slate. So catch us for that one. That's going to do it for this one, guys. For Title, for Hoop, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it!